This summer did not go as planned. Everything appears to be a clusterfuck these days. After spending 3 months back at home, I decided to return to my apartment in Philadelphia. Sadly, I was supposed to be in New York City this summer for a fashion design internship, but that was clearly canceled. Instead, I loaded up on 5 summer courses and tried to make the best of the situation. It definitely took some time to adjust, but I was grateful for being able to reunite with some of my best friends. Since the city was still pretty empty, my friend Joey was my quarantine buddy for the first chunk of the summer. I honestly don't know what I would have done without him. Our go-to activities was ordering takeout, setting up a little picnic, and day drinking all of our anxieties away. Of course, endless boba trips were made, and we tried our best to enjoy ourselves despite all the chaos. Trust me, there were many days where I found myself not leaving the apartment all day and burying myself under the covers. I would get into a deep funk and question literally everything. It's hard finding a balance. On one hand, you want to stay up to date on all the current events, but it's easily exhausting and you feel quite hopeless. However, on the other hand, you don't want to be ignorant and naive to these events. Obviously, I don't have all the answers. I'm just trying my best to appreciate the little joys instead of dwelling what life would be like without a global pandemic. The fact that I was able to see my boyfriend again every single day and hang out with Joey was definitely keeping me sane. I also made an effort to support Philly's Chinatown since there's been a lot of xenophobia due to COVID-19 and businesses have been struggling greatly. Not to sound so meta, but I really had lost count of the days and what time it was despite attending Zoom University. Fortunately, K-dramas have been my lifesaver.
좀 평범한 옷 없냐고.
평범한 건 싫어.
왜?
평범하니까.
By far, my favorite K-drama was It's Okay to Not Be Okay. I cried, I laughed, cried, and laughed some more. The plot, cast, and of course, the costume designs were to die for. My roommate, So Young, had returned back to Seoul since quarantine, so it was really fun talking about the show with her via Kakao Talk. Also, this scene hit me pretty hard since I've always quoted Bill Cunningham. Fashion is the armor to protect ourselves from the reality of everyday life. In July, I was able to socialize a bit more and had my friend Leslie stay for the week since at that time she literally didn't leave her house for several months. Joe, Leslie, and I picked things up just where we left them. We decided to cook, we drank soju, and watched K-pop music videos. It was so much fun reconnecting with them instead of our daily FaceTime calls, but it was a little weird since I found myself so emotionally exhausted because I wasn't used to interacting with people. Meanwhile, let me see those slippers. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yes. In August, I was able to have Leslie and Joe spend an entire week in my hometown. It was really nice to get out of the city and just be a tourist in my own town. Plus, it was fun seeing Leslie's reaction to what she claims is the countryside since she's lived her whole life in the city. No joke, there were countless times when I had to stop the car because Leslie was so mesmerized by all the deer in my neighborhood. If you also grew up in the suburbs, you know how funny this is. Luckily, there's a lot of fun stuff to do in my hometown, and it just made me appreciate it even more. It was also pretty ideal since there's a lot of nature spots where I'm from, so it was really easy to social distance. Playing housemates with my best friends for a whole week was seriously such a memorable experience, and it made me realize that I wouldn't have been able to do this if I had my design internship, so I suppose things work out in the end. I was seriously heartbroken that my trip to Japan and Korea was canceled. I'd been waiting all year to show my boyfriend and my family my birth city, Seoul, but I just had to accept the circumstances. It was nice though, because instead we spent some time at the beach to make up for it, which I was very grateful for. This summer definitely had its ups and downs and was memorable in its own unique way. Another term of courses will begin again, and whether we like it or not, all we can do is take one day at a time. Thankfully, I haven't received any emails from professors who say, "I hope this email finds you well." Anyways, these were some of my happier memories I made this summer, and I hope that once the world doesn't feel like it's ending, I can look back at this years later and say, "Good for you, Emma. You survived that shit."